Welcome to Shri and Kira Live, the voice of passionate action, bringing fresh perspectives and timeless wisdom for today's shifting paradigm. Now, it is your moment to open your mind, relax into your body and spirit as we explore the greater meaning of your now experience. Bringing wisdom, laughter, and clarity, here are Shri and Kira.
Namaste, beloved ones, and welcome to the voice of passionate action. Welcome to December. Welcome to the second month of November and the opening of the great blessing indeed.
Wow, we are having fun.
I hope so. I really hope so. And you know, it's beautiful to have you with us. I am Kira Ra.
And I am Sri Ram Ka, and we are delighted to be with you now.
We truly are. You know, this is such an extraordinary moment because we're at a moment that is a stunning culmination. You know, this is a year that has brought forth some of the greatest shifts humanity has ever experienced on so many levels. We had the 3 blood moons. We've had all these other wonderful energies, so many things happening. And really, Shri and I are referring to this moment as the great blessing because you have this opportunity. Remember, this is the second half of what we called a November, a 1-month energy. You have this opportunity to remake your life, to flow with the rise of the planetary Shakti, to be one with the chakra Vastu openings, which we're going to talk a little more about right now. And I am really excited about December because we've lined up some beautiful guests that are really wisdom keepers and energy keepers of the next phase of our planetary shifts and the spiritual momentum that is upon all of humanity.
You know, I kind of smile as I look at how the recent years have unfolded. And we had so much anticipation as we went into 2012.
And misinformation.
And misinformation.
Oh, lots of that was out there.
And then in 2013, there was this acceleration of energy. And in 2014, it began to actually crystallize in different forms.
Activate.
And what we're seeing right now, we have a greater understanding of, and I think as a result of all these experiences, that the chakra Vastu, and I was about to say Shakti.
Well, it's all tied in, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
That we're going through or recapitulating some phases. And these phases are the universal principles of energy, and they're happening both within the month and through a series of months.
It's the overlays. You know, if you didn't catch us last week's show, go back and listen to that show because it was a foundational show. Really, that show should be listened time between now and February because we're in a powerful 5-month opening. Remember, November, December, January 2015, February 2015, March 2015, liftoff through 2022. And that this all activated last summer. So, you know, go to Official Shri and Kira at YouTube. Check out all the video that we have posted there because there's so much information. And just want to remind you, because we're going to share a little bit more of a recap. If you have not yet connected with the article that we posted, go to shriandkira.com. And right on the homepage, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll even see a nice little icon for it. We posted an article, What is Global Chakra Vastu? Click on it, read it. It has week-by-week descriptions. Which, let's recap a little bit, Shri.
Yeah, I think it's important to get us all on the same song sheet here, at least to offer the discernment filters a way of understanding what this flow is.
Yeah.
And one of the beautiful things about this is that it's as if Spirit is offering us a do-over in some ways. You know,
It totally is, Shri.
People talk about a Kundalini opening, the lifting of energy up the spine, etc. And it really, in order to fully ripen, it's important that all of the elements are activated and honored. And,
Absolutely.
And last week was the beginning of this focus.
Now, last week, though, was fascinating because, and we talked about that in last week's show. Remember, we're in a 5-month window of which November and December were kind of one energy. So last week, also overlaid, it was the first week of a 5-week opening, which is kind of a mini experience of the 5 months, which is what made last week so powerful because it was not only a week of anchoring the energy of last week, but it was also the final kind of hurrah of what had been the entire energy of November.
which is about earth energy.
Yeah.
And this is the energy that governs the foundational pieces of ourself, and including your work in the world and your root center, if you want to refer to the human body and the human chakra system. And so it is foundational. This energy of Earth. Now, these weekly periods begin on a Sunday and end on a Saturday.
And so today
is a Sunday, and we're beginning to open up to the energy more of water. And no need to mention the Philippines here.
Well, I thought that was a very powerful, here we had this huge typhoon energy literally roll in with the opening of this week.
And this ties into the second chakra, which is that watery, emotional area in the human system. Remember that these energies are preparatory. That as we go through each week, we go from earth to water and up to fire, and we'll be talking more about these in the coming.
Tune in every week, because every week we'll be keeping you up to date.
But what's really happening is it's like a conditioning. It's like the entrada, they call it, the appetizer, that we get to touch these energies while also anchoring them month by month, so that when we get to March, we've had the full foundational experience.
Well, that's what I think is so powerful about this week, Shri, that here we are on December 7th, Sunday, December 7th, and we're opening up this week of very powerful water energy. This is also the energy of the West, and it's the energy of the semicircle. It's very much influenced by the moon, very much part of our second chakra. It's also a great opportunity for you to balance energy and pay attention, because, and it ties in with what we're going to talk about on the rest of the show today, it's about connecting with your life's purpose and passion. Water offers balance, joy, pleasure, creation of your life as your natural state. And not only is this week the week of this energy, this is also the entire energy of the month of December. So remember that as of December 1, we've actually already been in the water energy, which last week was overlaid with that earth energy, and that this energy of this week will continue as the primary energy of the month while these weekly overlays continue. And Shri, this is what really brings us to today's depth, is that if we're here to find our joy, if we're here to find our balance, we must absolutely talk about the heart. We have zero choice. We must talk about it. And I love that today we're going to really be asking, we're asking the question, are we hardwired to heaven? What does that really mean, and how does that flow? And I want to remind you guys that this show is live. So if you want to get in, I know last week we had a lot of people we couldn't get to on the phone. Get in the queue, 888-627-6008, because you're welcome to jump into the conversation, have a comment, ask for a mini soul reading. Again, that's 888-627-6008.
And so just by way of finishing the context a little bit, so we begin with the foundational energy of earth, we move into the creation energy of water, and in the coming week, after we get through this period to December 13th, we then are welcoming in the energy of the east, or the energy of fire.
Which I think is extraordinary, because bear in mind that all of these openings, remember the 5-week opening is a dimensional overlay of the 5-month opening. So that this water energy came in on December 1. So this water energy has been here. It's going to stay here all month as these other weeks overlay. Very powerful energy.
And that energy will be dancing. And then when we get into Christmas week, we're going to be in that heart energy, or air.
Well, we're going to be in that air, which is just so amazing. And then I love how that brings us into the ether through the new year. I mean, it's just such powerful overlays.
Timing, and the more, as you read the article at shriandkira.com, this will make a lot more sense as you begin to see these symbolic overlays.
Yeah.
Because one thing I know for sure is there's more going on than we are able to pay attention to.
Always.
and it's fun to tune in to these other symbolic understandings and to begin to recontextualize our lives. We are so loved that we are being given so many opportunities.
That's so true.
There is a
so
flow.
True.
There's mischief afoot, and it's loving mischief.
It's just fun. I love this. And I love the fact that, as we begin diving into our journey of the heart today, I'm really excited about our guest. She's such a beautiful woman. She's done so many beautiful things on the planet. And I love that we're also bringing in some of these science aspects. And I want to remind you guys that in January, Shri and I, for the first time, are teaching about the science, the RRST, Rudrashka Ratna Science Therapy, we are basically giving this course away. This is live with us, 3 teleclasses. It's a whopping $22 Love Shakti donation. Get in this class because it's really got so much to do.
A personal reading
Yeah.
and wonderful material. It's really a wonderful thing to realize that there is indeed ancient science available on the planet that supports our ascension process.
And that supports so many other things. And that's what brings us to, I love the name of Joan's book, our guest today, Joan Cerio. I love the name of her book, Hardwired to Heaven. I find that inspired. And of course, we're going to have to ask her all about that because, really, it's, most religions on the planet have a unified stream of we're all coming to our heart, get to our heart, get to our heart. But, as on a path of self-ascension, one of the things that we recognize is that that's just the beginning. It's like, okay, get me there, but then what? We're going to talk a lot more about that.
It's truly the foundation.
Yeah.
And so much more can be revealed. So let's offer a little introduction to Joan Cerio. She is a metaphysician. I just about messed that one up.
That's just for those that are paying attention.
Metaphysics. Joan has actually written a couple of books. Her first book is entitled "In the Key of Life: An Activational Journey to the Soul."
Love it.
And she's based a whole healing school on that revelation. And she's recently released "Hardwired to Heaven." And this woman has dedicated herself to a life of service, to activating the oneness that resides in all of us.
How beautiful.
And I can't do anything other than say yes.
Yes, that's for me.
And so without further ado, Joan, welcome to the show.
Namaste, Joan.
Well, namaste, and thank you so much. And what a great introduction. I mean, wow. So much love pouring out for me, and I so appreciate it. And I'm very grateful to be on your show today.
Well, thank you. We're mutually grateful to have you here with us. We love what you're doing. Thank you so much for following the call. I have to dive in and ask, were you just born this way? Did you have a revelation? How did you get to where you are right now? What happened in your life that brought you to this moment?
Wow. That would take more than an hour. But yeah, yes, the short answer is yes to all of the above. Yes, I was born this way. and I talk about preformed templates in the book, and this was my preformed template, I have to say, or, my sacred contract, as Carolyn Mace would say. But I can't deny my relationship with the divine. And that's always come through, even though I started my journey in science and I got a degree in biology and a master's in science education. I've always had this love of the divine. And even so much that as a child, I would pretend I was talking to a group of people about God, about divinity. So, yeah, it's in my blood. And I couldn't do anything but write this book. So
yeah. I love that. Now, I have to ask, how did your parents feel when you used to bring people around and want to talk to them about the divine, whether that was child playing or just having fun? Did you have that support, or was this something that was more of an internal journey?
This was an internal journey, although I think my father knew about this because I would do this when I was all alone. And my father was a mechanic. He had a garage right next door, and we had an intercom system. And he could have turned the intercom on and listened to me. So he may have known this, but he never really said anything to me about it. Other than when I thought my calling was to be a nun, it was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So,
sounds like
he
was
in the military. That was his answer, which I did,
Oh, it's interesting. You were blessed with an accepting.
We know everything, right? So.
Totally. I'm listening to your story and I love it. And one of the things that I'm really curious about and I'd love to hear more about is you've done something that very few people can do, which is you dove into science and yet you were able to recognize your strong affinity, as you said, it's in your blood, your connection with the divine. And so you've created a bridge where many people, quite frankly, build walls. How does that feel? Do you ever find that in the scientific community, you find yourself having to explain or justify, or how has that journey been for you?
Well, when I was really into the science and was working in the field or teaching it, the metaphysical stuff really hadn't surfaced then.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really encounter that contradictory energy. And I used to teach massage therapy, and I could see this coming, and I still see this coming, and it's in my heart, and I really hope this does happen, that we so bridge the gap, because education in this country, the system is broken, and so we so bridge the gap that when we teach from a holistic perspective, so that when we're teaching, say, organic chemistry, and they're looking at the basic building block of the organic molecule with the carbon, the 6 carbon atoms there, and they're looking at a hexagon, that they talk about the importance of that form and what form means and why the stereochemistry is so important. And, there's such levels and layers to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my hopes, that we just have this holistic approach to things, because then we get to the heart of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
And we can feel it. We can feel the importance of it.
Well,
and
when you say
connectivity of everything.
heart of the matter, it reminds me of your book, Hardwired. So share with the listeners a little bit about the revelation of this book and how it flows.